Wofford College in Spartanburg welcomed a very special visitor to its campus. Apollo 11 astronaut Buzz Aldrin spoke to a group of students about his life and career. He also sat down with ETV to talk about that historic first mission to land on the moon and his surprising reaction to finding out he was on that flight.
The day the assignment came out, and Neil Armstrong, Mike Collins, and I were going to be given the chance to make the first landing, I went home and talked to my wife, and I had flown a successful mission a couple of years before, and I knew the demanding tasks of going different places and giving speeches. Now, if we succeeded, I knew that this was going to be so much greater. And I told my wife, you know, if I had my way, I'd just as soon be on a later flight than the first one. But I can't do that. That choice isn't mine. It wouldn't be fair to the crew and to other folks. So.
Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Michael Collins launched on top of the massive Saturn V rocket to begin their journey to the moon on July 16, 1969. The world listened to Mission Control in Houston talking to the Apollo 11 crew as they began their final descent to the lunar surface.
Eagle, Houston, we see you on the steerable, over. Roger, Eagle, done dot. Roger, how does it look? The Eagle has wings. Roger.
South Carolinian Charles Duke Jr. was that voice in Mission Control during the Apollo 11 landing. 3 years later, Charlie Duke would become the 10th and youngest man to walk on the moon during Apollo 16. During Apollo 11, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin wanted Charlie to be their Capcom, short for Capsule Communications, the only person in Mission Control who talks with astronauts during the mission.
Well, being a Capcom is one of the most envied positions within the astronaut corps. A lot of people want to be a Capcom. It's a pretty exciting assignment. And during an Apollo mission, particularly very exciting to be in the mission operations control room at the point of landing. That's where Charlie Duke was during the Apollo 11 mission.
On July 20th, 1969, as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin began their historic descent to the moon's surface, Charles Duke was in Mission Control in Houston, waiting, along with the rest of the world, on the edge of his seat.
The tension was mounting in Mission Control, and we were getting closer and closer to calling an abort. I called 60 seconds, which meant he had a minute to land.
60 seconds. Lights on. Forward. Forward. 40 feet down, 2.5. Picking up some dust.
And then I called up Eagle, you got 30 seconds.
4 forward, drifting to the right a little. 30 seconds forward.
Charlie Duke kept reminding them how much fuel they had left. At one point, Deke Slayton turned to him and said, just be quiet, just give them some space. They need to land.
Contact light. Okay, engine stop. We copy you down, Eagle.
And we knew they were on the ground, because when you stop the engine, you're going to land. And there was a pause, and then Neil says, Houston.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
And we literally were holding our breath, so that prompted me to respond.
Roger, Tranquility, we copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
There were 4 people who knew that after we landed, what we were going to call ourselves, Tranquility Base. Neil, Mike, and I, and Charlie, because we knew he was going to repeat that, and he stumbled on the word. After that mission, all 3 of us did not want to stay in the crew rotation. Neil and I had been, of course, on the first lander. conceivably, at the end, I could have been a commander, but I really wanted to move on and go back to the Air Force. And Neil wasn't exactly a person who gave a lot of interviews. And contrary to that, I felt that if I had good ideas, I wanted the people to know about them. But that's okay. I consider myself, in a time period, one of the most fortunate people. My mother was born the year the Wright brothers flew. My father's an early aviator, knew all the people. I got in combat, landed on the moon, and now I'm planning the details of humans reaching Mars. That won't happen during my lifetime, but I sure hope that we will be on the path to get there.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap